Rashad, why you didn't
Anyways,
hit me up?
What's up, Rashad? Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
brother, I love you, brother. Trump, lit,
What's up,
Indian,
Rashad?
yeah.
What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.
Okay. Can you explain why left woke people hate CC? What did she do to them? All right, bro. So Shanks, first of all, chill. But it's like with Caitlyn, I think it's more so just like her fans, her following. It's like folks they don't even care to do the research. You know what I'm saying? Of like who came before and what has been done before. Because it's like you will never know. Like the most viewed WNBA game was like the first one, right? That had like a gazillion views on viewership. So it's like, you see these numbers that the WNBA puts like throughout the PR of like, it's the most viewed game on ESPN, this most game view on ABC and this and that. And it's like, dang, if we looked at the numbers for real, we have seen the most viewed game was like the opening game, the first ever game. And then it's stuff like when Cheryl Swoops speaks on Caitlin Clark and his critiques based in basketball, like, dang, Caitlin Clark turns the ball over a lot. ABC, Angel Reese, she needs to finish better around the rim. She's undersized, and what she's doing at LSU might not work as well in the W because those are big girls. It's a big girls league. It's a grown-up league. She needs to learn how to at least get a jump shot so that she doesn't have to bang down low or something. Have to figure it out. And people like, who is this old lady? This old bitter black woman? The woke left, all those things, right? And it's like Cheryl Swoops, the greatest player of all time. Like she's undeniably a top 5 player of all time, and a lot of people will make the argument that she's their GOAT. Cheryl Swoops scored once again 47 points in the national championship game and won the national championship. If Caitlin Clark did that, folks would be thinking she the greatest thing since like they already think she's the greatest thing since. So it's like the reason why people have such angst, kind of pushback against Caitlin Clark is because her fans kind of just dismiss the history of what occurred, what was accomplished beforehand in the space of women's basketball, the WNBA, and things of that sort. Because, to be honest, the push of Caitlin Clark, the popularity of Caitlin Clark, the Caitlin Clark phenomenon is because of Paige Bueckers. You know what I'm saying? Paige Bueckers had motion in high school because she was up in Minnesota. She was up in Minnesota at a time when Minnesota high school basketball also had Jalen Suggs and they also had Chet Holmgren. All three of them were getting a lot of attention. So because of that, Paige was kind of benefiting on being in Minnesota at the same time as those two dudes. So Ball is Life, Overtime, all those people, they were in Minnesota covering the high school games. So Paige became a superstar on the internet, kind of like Mac McClung and all those guys like Ball is Life All-Stars. So it just became a thing, right? So in high school, she was on the cover of Sports Illustrated with Eric Gilbert. Marietta Great, praying for his health and everything like that, mental health. And she goes into UConn. She kills UConn her first year. And people were like, dang, Paige getting all this attention because she black and she played for UConn, and ESPN has a UConn bias, which ESPN admitted in a documentary that they had a UConn bias, but only because of its proximity to the UConn campus. Like Connecticut, ESPN's in Bristol, Connecticut, and Bristol, Connecticut. Storrs, Connecticut is in the same state. I don't know how many hours. I'm not from up north. I'm from the south. So it's like people were complaining about Paige. Paige wins the ESPY for Women's Sport of the Year or Sportswoman of the Year. She goes up and gives that speech that you guys see all the time. And she says, Black women built this sport on their backs and they don't get the credit. And then she cited, I forgot who wrote it. I'm so sorry. But I reference it a lot on here about how the WNBA is made of 70% women, but 50% of the coverage goes to white players. And, like, that's just how it's always been in women's basketball. I think a lot of women's sports and stuff like that, of how like the white women would get more coverage, more endorsements, more money than their black counterparts and things of that sort. So it's like, it was already a thing. Paige pointed it out, and black people was kind of like, okay, I guess we can rock with Paige. Paige gets hurt sophomore season. Caitlin comes in, and she's continuing to do the same stuff she did as a freshman, but people weren't paying attention as much her freshman year because Paige Bueckers was killing. So now Caitlyn, she's killing, but Caitlyn does it in a more kind of like, it's a lot more flair. And Paige played with a lot of flair in high school. Like she was moving like Pistol Pete, behind the back, no look passes, deep threes, look off threes, and all that. She was doing that in high school at Hopkins. However, she goes to the system with Gino, and Gino like, nah, little twin, you playing basketball. So Paige's game was more of a purist basketball game to watch in college. And then she gets hurt. All the attention goes to Caitlyn. And Caitlyn, she had no leash in Iowa. She just half court, no look. She doing all that. Because of that, Caitlyn gets the fans. She also talks trash. She's fiery, so people like that. And, it's good competition. She talks trash. And it was the perfect storm when Angel was doing the same thing, transferring to LSU. And they the same high school class and everything like that. And they meet in the national championship game. Angel does what Caitlyn did a game before, and the rest is history. So, you could talk about Caitlyn explosion and Caitlyn method and stuff like that, but it all started with Paige Bueckers.
Rashad, why you didn't hit me up?
What's up, Rashad? Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
Brother, I love you, brother.
What's up, Rashad? What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.